Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. So, I just watched the Godzilla Minus One movie a few days ago, and I thought I would give my opinion on it and talk about it a little bit. So, if you haven't seen any of the media yet, Godzilla Minus One is one of the newest Godzilla movies. It's not actually part of the MonsterVerse, though. It's its own standalone movie made in Japan. So it has nothing to do with the Godzilla from the MonsterVerse or anything from those movies. It was definitely a good movie, and I'm gonna say right now, if you want to see it, you should definitely check it out before watching this video or any other videos on it. It's definitely worth the watch. Anyway, I'm gonna get into talking about the movie and what I liked about it and just my general thoughts on it. So, the movie is set in World War II Japan. It's about a young Japanese soldier that fought in the war and him coming home after the war. And from what I gathered, due to the war and all the atomic weapons and stuff, Godzilla got awakened. And in this movie, he's not the friendly creature that fights other monsters for the humans. He's actually out to get the humans. Similar to Shin Godzilla. I haven't actually seen that movie, but it looks pretty similar. I think its premise is pretty much the same. Anyway, Godzilla is awakened and starts attacking the humans and destroying cities and stuff. Pretty much killing anything in its path. And the humans have to figure out how to take down Godzilla before he destroys pretty much everything. And so that's basically what the movie is about. I'm not going to get into huge spoilers, so sorry about that, but since this movie is still new, I don't know how much I can really spoil right now, so yeah. If you want spoilers, I suggest you check out the actual movie. But anyway, I'm going to go into what I liked about it and what I thought worked really well. So first we have the story. I thought it was pretty good and well written. It was easy to follow and had me pretty intrigued the whole time, wondering what was going to happen next. I didn't feel like there were any parts where it was boring or not really much was happening. I felt like there was always something interesting going on screen, so that was something that I liked. And the characters were pretty good too. I know that in a lot of Godzilla movies, especially the MonsterVerse ones, the humans aren't really a huge part of the story. They're just kind of filler and not really interesting. But I felt like in this, the humans were actually important and it was worth following their story. I was interested in them. I wasn't just waiting until the next time I would see Godzilla. Which makes sense for this movie because it wasn't really a monster versus monster movie. It was a humans versus monster movie, so the humans were more a part of the story and more of the main characters, where Godzilla was the villain. I actually cared about the main character and was interested in what was going to happen to him, and I felt like the movie did a good job setting that up and making me want to know what would happen to him. So all of that was interesting and made me really into the movie. And now on to my favorite part, and the main reason I watched the movie in the first place, Godzilla. So in this movie, Godzilla was the villain instead of the hero, and it wasn't really like it was told from the perspective of Godzilla, it was from the perspective of the humans. So Godzilla is the monster in this movie. So when I first saw the trailer, I saw the Godzilla design, and I had to admit it looked really cool. It looked kind of like a creepypasta version of Godzilla, especially in the pose he's in this shot here. He looks really scary. Compared to the other Godzilla, I would definitely run away if I saw this thing coming toward me. So when I watched the actual movie and saw the design, it was kind of what it looked like in the trailer, but obviously the trailer used the best shots of it for the clips it showed. It doesn't always look like this in the movie. The majority of the time it was walking on land, it looked kind of stiff and kind of weird, like it didn't belong, which was maybe what it was supposed to look like. I don't know if this movie was kind of going off of Shin Godzilla, which I haven't seen, so I don't know how Godzilla looked or walked in that movie, but it might be going off of that and trying to recreate that. And a lot of times it would kind of freeze up and just like stand there frozen in like almost slow motion, and it looked kind of odd, but again, that might be like what they were trying to go for with the looks of it. And I'm not hating on this movie. I really enjoyed this movie when I watched it. That was just how the design looked to me sometimes, but I still overall enjoyed the movie and seeing it on screen. There were also a few times when it looked pretty terrifying on screen. I definitely liked the scarier take on Godzilla's appearance. I also liked his atomic breath, how the spikes would shoot out when he was charging up. That was pretty cool. And this Godzilla's atomic breath seems to be more powerful than the one from the Monsterverse. So overall, I enjoyed the new take on the design. I also liked how this Godzilla seems to look more human than the other one with his facial expressions. So now, on to the other part I wanted to talk about, which was the ending. Again, I'm not gonna exactly spoil it, but I'm just gonna talk about my thoughts on it. So it was a very ominous ending, and it made you really wonder, like, what was gonna happen next. I definitely feel like a sequel is going to be, or is already in the works. Cause man, that ending was pretty creepy. Let's just say we definitely haven't seen the end of Godzilla Minus One. I wonder if this is gonna turn into a movie series, or maybe even turn into the Monsterverse for Japan. So, my overall thoughts on the movie. I definitely enjoyed it and would definitely go see it again if I ever get another chance. I definitely think it achieved its goal if it was trying to go for a more scary version of Godzilla. The characters were likable and the story was worth following. It was engaging pretty much the entire time, and there wasn't any moment where I was taken out of it or anything. I've seen that it's got a lot of hype in the media, everybody's praising it and talking about how good it is, and I definitely think they're right about that. It's a pretty good movie. Now, is it my favorite monster Godzilla movie? I don't know about that. I think I still prefer the Godzilla 2014 movie to this one, just because I like how Godzilla was portrayed every time he was on screen. He was pretty good in this one, but I mean, that roar from that Godzilla in that movie was... It takes my breath away every time. This Godzilla's roar was a lot less cool sounding to me, at least, but I think it was meant to be more scary than cool. So I wouldn't say this movie is better than all the other Monsterverse movies, but I think it definitely fits up there and is about the same for me in terms of how much I enjoyed it. It definitely wins with human story, though. I feel like these humans were the most interesting ones I've ever seen in any Godzilla movie. Even more than the humans in Monarch, which I haven't finished that series yet. I still have to watch more of the episodes, but I think the Godzilla Minus One characters were still more likable than even them. So it's definitely a good movie, and like I said before, you should definitely check it out if you're into things like Godzilla or just any monster attack movie. It's definitely a good watch. I'm sure you won't regret it. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about this movie. If you watched the movie, what did you think of it? Did you enjoy it, or did you think it wasn't as good as it's hyped up to be? Like I said before, I don't think it's any better than any of the other monster movies, but if you're talking about the human story, it's definitely better. But other than that, I think it's about the same as those other movies. I definitely hope to see a sequel to it soon. That's going to conclude this video. See you guys.